Hi everyone! For those of you who don't know me, my name is Johanna Allik. I'm from Estonia and I'm a figure skater. I've skated over 20 years, of which 18 years I competed internationally. And today I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own clothing brand for figure skaters. I'm a law student. I'm also what's the word? Health enthusiast. So basically this YouTube is just my hobby where I share my stories of figure skating. And recently I became open about an eating disorder that I struggled with in sports. And so a lot of my videos are actually very, very much connected to that. And so is today's. Today I want to talk about the importance of coming clean and telling someone about your problem that is really bringing you down. For me, it was obviously an eating disorder, and I've always wanted to do this, and I think it's very important that I talk about this because not many athletes talk about this. Anyway, if you have been familiar with my other videos, then shortly I will just say that I had an eating disorder for around 8 years, from the time that I was a teenager up until I was in my 20s. I'm still in my 20s, but I've been clean for a few years now. And it was 2016 when I decided that I need to become clean, end of 2016, and 2017 was when I really started the process, and 2017 end was when I can call myself the healthiest possible athlete that I was. And also 2017 I quit skating at the end. That was the plan. And 2018 was just a very big transformative year for me health-wise, and I finally started feeling like myself, and here I am today. So what happened in 2016 was that I actually wrote down some notes so it would be easier for me to talk to you. 2016 fall, like September through December, was tough. I was insecure, confused, unmotivated, and I knew that something had to change. So basically, every training session was against my will. I didn't want to skate, but also I wanted to, but I went to skating because I had competitions. So I just had the pressure of competitions, but I had no inner fire or inner motivation to do this. And my eating disorder had gotten pretty bad, and then right before nationals around December I kind of got it under control. But then after nationals was New Year's, and that's when I decided that no, this has to stop. I need to become clean. And I stopped, which meant I was so stressed and in such a big bundle with myself that I also gained 5 kilos, which for a figure skater is absolutely unacceptable, and I knew it at the time. And just as a side note, I must say that there are things in life, career paths in life, where your weight and the way you look is so important, and it's just the way it is. I know there are movements in life that are trying to normalize being whichever size, but as a figure skater you can't be any size if you want to do it on a high level. It's just, I do not think it's possible. I know from my own experience my weight fluctuated quite a lot, so whenever I was too heavy I could not do my triple jumps. And if you want to be at a high level you have to be at a certain weight. For me it was around 52 kilos, and whenever it was 56, I didn't have the same energy. I was more prone to injuries, and I mean there are a lot of careers like that. There's also modeling where it's very now they're normalizing plus size models, which I think is great, but I really believe in the goal of being healthy. And so as a figure skater it's really hard to get that number out from your head, that you don't think about the number, that you think more about being healthy. But it's harder to do when you're older, so it really has to start from childhood and from coaches and your family, so that you always hear, rather than skinny or thin or light or lightweight, you hear the words healthy, 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 and that this should be really promoted, and that's what I'm trying to do with my own videos as well. That was a long side note. But anyway, beginning of 2017 was when I was like on the path to become clean. No clue what I was doing at that moment. I just knew that I wanted to stop this nonsense, and I had like a lot of factors. My health was not like really good because 2016 I started getting like my heart rate was going, like my heart wasn't working as normal as I was expecting. Like sometimes after I had binged on my heart rate was like racing, and I just didn't feel right. Plus I also told my boyfriend at the time, I told him that I was dealing with this, and from there on it just like, it really like started like snowballing. So beginning of 2017 was when I didn't really train, January I mean. And I have a bunch of screenshots here, which I'm gonna put on the screen as well. But for those of you who are not Estonian, it will be hard for you to understand. But basically I hadn't seen my coach for quite a few weeks, actually, I think since nationals, since we both went on holidays. And she texted me in the beginning of January asking, Joe, like, how are you? When am I gonna see you? And that was when I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to go to training. And that was my first like cue to basically tell her what's going on, but I wasn't still quite sure if I wanted to tell her, because it's like, I wasn't sure if I trust her enough, because at that time I didn't want anyone to know. I was so embarrassed about this. Only my parents and my boyfriend knew, and I was just like insecure about it. So I just told her that I've just gained so much weight that I'm so embarrassed to be at the rink, that I'm only training at times when nobody else is at the rink, so I need some time. And then she was like, well, okay, yeah, of course, I understand that it was like a tough end of the year. Let's just leave that in the past, and whenever you feel ready, come back, but just don't take too long because the season is still going, which she was right. Like she had no idea what was going on, so obviously. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we kept texting about like things, and I decided to tell her, and I had to do it over text because I didn't want to go to the rink, and I just I hadn't seen her in a while, so that was like, the text wasn't my way of getting out of saying it to her face. It was just as scary. And so I decided to write her about this. And how I got to that point was basically it's very important, like I can't stress this enough, that it's so important that as an adult athlete, that the coach you have is kind of like your mentor, that you have to be able to trust them, but they also have to earn their trust. There's a lot of coaches around who only either do it for money, or they'll tell you or your parents whatever they want to hear, like, yeah, your child will be an Olympic champion, which is most of the time it's not true. You can only have one Olympic champion every 4 years. So but there's so much of this, and I had by then I had already had so much experience, and I had skated for so long, so it was easy for me to filter who is the people I can trust and who are not. And she was definitely one of those people who I could trust, because we had never really fought, but I could tell she was passionate about me, and I just like always felt like warmth from her. And therefore I decided to tell her, and I'm gonna let that text on the screen now, and I'm just gonna translate it to those who are not Estonian. And basically I start off by saying, like, there are still things you don't know. I'd like to believe that if I tell you, you'll promise that you won't tell anyone, because I only told my parents a month ago, and before that no one knew. And this is also the reason why I'm taking so long to come back to the rink. And she's like, you can be sure that I won't tell anyone. And then she goes to ask, did you eat some pills, and did you get addicted or something? Which, it's so insane. But the truth is, what she's replying here is not like shocking. Like, it's actually, like, this is what the sport is. Like, if someone says I'm going through something, it's like normal tests, like, oh, are you depressed, or do you have an eating disorder, or did you eat too many laxatives? Like, this is normal. And I mean, it should not be, but that's why I'm so passionate about this. And so basically, no, I didn't eat pills, but so here's another thing. I did eat like baby pills over the course of my career, and it really sometimes affected my whole system, so they also made me sometimes gain weight and sometimes lose, and it was confusing, and that also made me very like stressed. Like I never knew what was gonna happen, and therefore I decided to stop taking pills. I don't know the timing anymore. Anyway, I'm just saying that I was so ashamed of myself, disappointed in myself, mad at myself, and from all the stress and insecurities, I started eating too much and throwing up like for a long time, months and months in a row. And when I did that, I felt even more worse. But I saw that this is the only way to maintain my weight. I was able to lose weight 2-3 kilos for the competition. That's also why I turned to be so unsocial. But then at one point I realized that I'm cheating myself, I'm cheating everyone, and I can't continue this because I have so many other things to think about. And I stopped before nationals. Then I was just eating really, really little, but then also that was bad for me because I had like issues inside. And by the end of December, I made a decision that from here on, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get my health back in order. And from there on, I realized that I didn't even realize how messed up my organism was before I started eating like a normal human being and didn't let myself throw up, because I gained like 5 kilos. Side note, I am pretty sure that I gained the weight because it was the first time my body had to actually like digest food for like since a very long time, and obviously I don't think I was eating maybe exactly the right things. Today I'm much smarter about what's good for me and what's not. And I was so stressed and my hormones were going crazy and my metabolism was really slow. So there were so many reasons for gaining weight. Plus my body wasn't used to not training as much, and yeah. And this is just a very long journey that I'm on now, and even my parents don't know the whole story. This is why I also moved alone to deal with this, and basically this is why I've been away from everyone and avoiding the public. And I just think that you as my coach should know why I lost. Oh, and here I'm saying I threw up the first time when I was 14, and now you know my biggest secret. It wasn't easy to write these things. Even I'm tearing up, but this is how it is. This is just a fight I've been fighting, and at the moment becoming healthy is my #1 priority. And this wasn't something that I would so gladly share with everyone. And yeah, and so she goes. Thank you for sharing. I knew something was really off. I just didn't think what it was. I really hope this is in the past now. Our health is the most important thing, much important than any sports result. And don't ever do it again. You see? Don't ever do it. Okay, you can't see it. And then she goes on to say, like, try to find within you the 2015 Johanna, and everything will come back even better, and you're not going to be Ainuke. You're not, I was reading in a story, you're not the only one. This is our sport. You can't do it without drama. Once you get back in shape, come back to the ice before there's no reason. And remember, fall 2014, you managed to learn everything from complete zero. And this is absolutely possible at the moment. You have knowledge, you have way more knowledge than before. And so you can see how, well, first of all, I think she was also in like a little bit of a shock, like what can she say? But I just wanna like take a moment to appreciate this person replying in such a understanding and supportive manner, because that's skillful, and I'm really grateful for her for doing that this way. And I guess what I'm trying to say in general is that the fact that I told my coach, no matter how you tell, but the fact that I told her and she kept the secret, the fact that I was able to trust her was the biggest, not the biggest, but it was a huge key element in my motivation to come back on the ice as a healthy person, even though I was a little bit bigger, but as a healthy person, training really hard and managing to continue my skating career for only for a few more months, like 6 months, but I managed to do that. And to me, that's still like something that I time to time remind myself that we as humans are capable for way more than we think. And one kind thing from someone that you really respect can have such a huge impact. So this really, like, as since I also sometimes like what I'm doing now is also basically like giving advice, and when I worked with kids since then, and I've always kept it in my head, trying to remember how my coach was, so that when a child comes to me with a problem, then there's absolutely no reason to shut them down. But you have to know your students, and you have to know your kids, like, before you start pointing them in a direction, because high level sports is not for everyone. So our coaches worldwide should not tell parents that your child is going to be a superstar if all they really want to do is be an artist or a musician or I don't know, an engineer. Then, like, sports is not for everyone, and that is absolutely fine. And I am pretty sure that I was not made for becoming an Olympic champion, even though I really dreamed of it. But this was not my journey, and that is also okay, because, you know, okay, my phone overheated, so I can't remember what I was talking about, but I think I was gonna say that there only can be one Olympic champion, and just the idea of sports should not be like high level sports is never healthy, like not fully, like you and just in terms of like having a fully like worthwhile life, then being a high level athlete, really, you have so many sacrifices that you're making that it really, if you're not built for it, then it's really not worth it. I'm happy that I quit when I quit, and I'm happy that I did it for so long, because it gave me such like a cool impact for my whole life, and like so many good things have grown out of it. And it's just I am pretty passionate and sad about the fact that there's so much wrong ways of thinking and approaching coaching these days, in the sense, like, especially when it comes to like the way like looks and appearance. And I really hope that, even though this is just my view and my experience on things, that whoever listens to this got some like food for thought, so that they could maybe share it with some other one, and then it goes from there. So it's like the small things, and just like, I think I just finished the video here, and I'll be back soon. I still have so many things I want to tell you, and I really hope that you like this video. And then please subscribe, comment, do all the little dots and thingies, just so that the word would be spread more. Yeah, so stay safe, and